Robert's unwoke. TV's Robert's unwoke. He's unwoke.
Hey, how you doing? It's TV's Rob. This is TV's Rob is Unwoke, and I'd like to welcome you to the program. I know. It's been a couple of weeks since I last posted an episode. I'm sorry. You know, there are times where real life gets in the way. It's been a crazy and chaotic and hectic time, and I have neglected you, the audience, and I am very sorry for that. But hey, I'm back, and wow, I tell you, I take a couple of weeks off, and the world goes to hell in a handbasket. It goes to complete, total, utter shit. And there is so much going on. And I know, I say that every time. But I'll stop saying it when it stops being true. So, what all has been going on? Well, Joe Biden and the whole Afghanistan thing. Such a travesty. Such disrespect for our military. But of course, you can get all of the information elsewhere. But I would like to point out real quick that everybody who is saying that this is Joe Biden's worst pullout ever really needs to take a look at Hunter Biden. Which one is the worst pullout? Really? And, you know, maybe we shouldn't beat up on Joe so much. I mean, the man is old. The man is falling apart. The man is demented in the brain. Of course, we can blame Jill Biden for making Joe run. But I don't know if we could really give her a hard time either. I mean, she's at the U.S. Open wearing a mask with her name embroidered on it. Twice. So if you fold it in half, you see her name on both sides. But of course, they left out doctor. Which makes me wonder, is that person that embroidered that, are they alive still? Have they been snuffed out of existence? Have they been buried? Have they been fired or whatever? I mean, that's just such an egregious mistake. I can't believe anybody would dare make it not acknowledging Jill Biden for the doctor that she is. Oh my goodness. But seriously, the Afghanistan situation, Biden's cognitive decline, all of that is very serious and needs to be treated with the seriousness for what the situation presents. And I've got some really strong opinions on it, but they're opinions that you've probably already heard listening to other programs. And as S.E. Cupp on CNN said, you know, the conservative people, you know, they're just playing this fake outrage on the radio. They think that, you know, they're not really that outraged, but they have to pretend that they're that outraged. Well, no, we're outraged. I am outraged, but that's not my style. That's not my thing. I like to have fun and talk about other things that are of interest to people. You can get the political right wing, left wing, blah, 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 back and forth, outrage, whatever, breakdowns, anywhere else. So I'll leave that to those experts, okay? Just know that the situation is really messed up. And I cannot believe that as a country we are more or less bowing down in front of a terrorist organization saying, oh yes, please tell us what to do. We will kiss your ass. We will give you money. We will give you aid. We will do this. We will do that. This is America. We don't suck the dick of anybody else. They should be sucking our dick, okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. Speaking of sucking dick, that's what we like to call a segue. Haha. OnlyFans. Now, I teased this on Twitter talking about OnlyFans and banning porn. Well, guess what? Oh my goodness. The website said that they were going to ban porn. But I have a question. does anybody know what OnlyFans really is? Now, it depends on who you ask, I guess. To many, it's a porn site where many girls from Instagram make an account to sell near nudes, and sex tapes for huge sums of money. Many girls from Generation Z have been making OnlyFans accounts and making easy money fast. A website for women, and men I guess, to show simps their ass and titties for money. And those days were going to be coming to an end after the website announced that they were going to be banning porn in October. Now, the London-based company had reportedly been struggling to raise new funding despite monumental growth because investors are cautious or contractually prohibited from investing in adult content. Well, what happened? I mean, OnlyFans was bringing in $2.5 billion on a total sales of $12.5 billion. Think about that. $2.5 billion being made on people showing their junk, showing their boobs, showing their vag to people who are willing to pay to see it. Last I checked, the internet is for porn, and porn can be found for free. But if you're that type of person, hey, why not? Now, originally, OnlyFans sent a statement to content creators saying, effective October 1st, 2021, OnlyFans will prohibit the posting of any content containing sexually explicit conduct. In order to ensure the long-term sustainability of the platform and to continue to host an inclusive community of creators and fans, we must evolve our content guidelines. Creators will continue to be allowed to post content containing nudity as long as it is consistent with our acceptable use policy. These changes are to comply with the requests of our banking partners and payout providers. We will be sharing more details in the coming days, and we will actively support and guide our creators through this changing content guidelines. Okay. That's a lot of blah, blah, blah for, hey, no more porn. I know a few people that have OnlyFans accounts, okay, who create content on the website. So try to figure out, what are they thinking about doing? What's the pulse here? What's the pulse? And it didn't take long for people to start planning the max exodus, which I'm going to guess that's the reason why just a few days later, OnlyFans decided to reverse course. That's right. It's amazing how the threat of losing billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, however much it would be, can motivate a company to start making changes. So the company said in a tweet, "Thank you to everyone for making your voices heard. We have secured assurances necessary to support our diverse creator community and have suspended the planned October 1 policy change. OnlyFans stands for inclusion, and we will continue to provide a home for all creators." A spokesperson declined to say which bank or banks it has new or renewed payment processing agreements with, because, the banks is the reason why they were originally banning it, because the banks didn't want to be, involved in that, even though, what does it really matter? You're just funneling the money through, but whatever, hey, all right, whatever. And the spokesperson said the proposed October 21 changes are no longer required due to banking partners' assurances that OnlyFans can support blah, 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 the rep said. So it was really much ado about nothing. They resolved the conflicts with the banks, which some of them had refused to do business with the site, by going public with the issue and publicizing the large amount of money that flows through the site, on the order of $300 million in payouts per month. OnlyFans founder and CEO Tim Stokely put the blame for the porn ban on banks in an interview, saying that banks including JP Morgan Chase, Bank of New York Mellon, and the UK's Metro Bank had cut off OnlyFans' ability to pay creators. I mean, that move alone, just deciding, you know what, I'm going to say it's the bank's fault, and not only am I going to say it's the banks, I'm going to start naming banks. That's pretty ballsy. And I wonder if it will have long-term ramifications for the business model, and if they will go ahead and go through with the porn ban at a later date. I guess when they don't have so much heat. But it's interesting. I think that they're still going to go in that general direction sometime in the future, because they launched a Safe for Work app. And to promote this new app, they've got quite possibly the strangest person in the world. Because when you think safe for work, I'm sure Mia Khalifa, the former porn star, comes to mind. Because, who doesn't think of a former porn star as being safe for work? The company is pushing an exclusively safe for work app on Apple and Google devices called OFTV, which supposedly is part of the company's initiative to distance itself from its image as a porn platform. But look, it's only a porn platform if you pay to see it, okay? I mean, that's what I don't understand here. Why is there so much outrage? Why is there such a stigma for this website where the only way that you even see the content is if you pay for it? We all know sex sells. We all know what the world's oldest profession is. So what is the big deal? If you're paying for it, that's your choice. If people want to make the content, that's their choice. If they're making money from it, everybody wins, right? The people who are paying get to see what they want to see, and the people who are creating the content get money. So what's the issue here? Now, of course, I'm saying most of this in jest, okay? I understand. Any website, OnlyFans in particular, can be a dangerous place. If you've listened to Pat Gray Unleashed or you've watched Pat Gray Unleashed on YouTube or on The Blaze, Hillary Kennedy did a segment not too long ago talking about the website and how it can be a dangerous place. I'll post a link to that YouTube segment in the episode description, so be on the lookout for that. Fact is, teenagers are savvy and many are seeking to become the next big name when it comes to making it as an influencer. Thank you, Kardashian clan. This is on you, okay? Everything I'm going to talk about next, it's on you, Kim, Chloe, the man, Courtney, what are the other ones? Kylie, Kendall, Chris, even you, Bruce, Caitlin, whatever you want to call yourself this week. This is all on you. The whole influencer craze started because of your worthless piece of shit family, who most of them are famous for absolutely nothing. Kim Kardashian, famous for spreading her legs and letting a rapper pile drive her in a bed. And honestly, it wasn't even that good of a tape. Okay, let's just be real about this. But kids will do anything to make it as an influencer, sometimes at any cost. They assume the internet is a safe place to post photos, which we all know it's not. When they see themselves gaining notoriety on the site and money starts to roll in, they feel even more empowered to take it further. Posting more risque content often translates to more money. Sex sells, and if you're young and posting suggestive or even sexually explicit material, you're likely to gain a lot of followers. And when you think about this, if you're a content creator with 10,000 followers, you can make anywhere between $500 and $2,500 a month. The site has approximately 30 million users with 150,000 new accounts being approved every 24 hours. So it doesn't take long to do the math. The numbers don't lie. Kids don't see the danger in posting a few photos when they're making more with 15 minutes of effort than they would in a month working in retail, in the mall, dealing with assholes like me. In the UK, a study found that OnlyFans stars make 270 times more than the average worker. The most popular OnlyFans user makes over $29.4 million, while the 10th most popular rakes in $4.3 million annually. That's a lot of money for showing your boobs. And honestly, when I hear numbers like this, I start thinking, man, I was born at the wrong time and the wrong gender, because if I could make that kind of money, I'd probably do it. I'd probably be showing my boobs too. Nobody wants to see male junk. back to the dangers. Kids are finding way around security measures to open up accounts on the website. More underage girls are drawn to posting explicit content, which can result in eventual sex trafficking. Okay, stalkers. Following accounts turn up in person. Content doesn't stay on their website under their control and has already been leaked, ruining your future. Children can be lured by strangers with promises of bigger payouts for photo shoots, commercials, movie auditions, and are sexually assaulted. So there are dangers to the website. Now, how do you prevent all of that? I don't know. If you're a parent, be a parent. I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to it. So obviously the system is not perfect, but when you're in business, nothing's perfect. I just wanted to give a fair and balanced argument and insight to the issue. $29.4 million for showing boobs? I mean, that's pretty good. But back to the mobile app, which has no nudity. And it features former porn star Mia Khalifa, as well as former Disney princess Bella Thorne, who has famously courted backlash after opening a new nudity OnlyFans account last year and raked in a lot of money within the first 24 hours. I think she made over $1 million in the first 24 hours she had an account because people were willing to pay just to see what she was not willing to show. OnlyFans TV also hosts other risque. Now, risque, not porn, because it's, safe for work, like a podcast called Coffee and Cleavage. Coffee and Cleavage. I might have to check an episode of that out. And a variety of cooking shows featuring young women in low-cut tops. So we're kind of teasing you? I don't get it at all. This reeks of a company that has no idea who their audience is and what their audience wants. So they're just throwing darts to see what sticks. But again, if you're willing to pay for it on the actual website, I guess having the Safe for Work app is just a way to say, hey, look, we're not just all about boobs. See, there's other stuff. We have a podcast. We have cooking shows. Yes, I know you can see a lot of cleavage, and I know that you could almost see them. Oh, no, but not quite. So it's still safe for work. It's not porn. Before you know it, they'll probably be opening a chain of family restaurants. Except I think they already have those. I think they're called Hooters. I don't know. CEO Tim Stokely told Bloomberg that there is no adult content on OFTV because it is not being monetized and there's no direct impact on creators' earnings. We are able to keep that in the App Store for Apple and Google. So how many people are going to be checking that out? Raise your hands. Come on. Come on. Don't lie. Yeah, I thought so. Can you imagine living in a city, in a state, where the local government decides that the way to deal with an uptick in gun crimes is to create a program that will pay high-risk individuals not to shoot anyone? Can you imagine living in a city like that? How backwards ass crazy is the city that would create such a program? Well, I'll give you 3 guesses, but I'm pretty sure you will only need maybe 2. San Francisco, California. That's right. Cheryl Davis, executive director of the Human Rights Commission, said that these small investments can transform the lives of individuals, but they can also transform communities. This new program called the Dream Keeper Fellowship will pay 10 individuals who are at risk of being on either end of a shooting $300 each month not to be involved in such crimes. The fellowship is being rolled out by the Human Rights Commission and Office of Economic and Workforce Development and is funded through the Dream Keeper Initiative, which is San Francisco's program that works to redirect funding into the Black community. It will launch in October. I have a question. Real quick question. If this is funding that is being redirected to the Black community, what if one of the 10 individuals that are at high risk of being on either end of a shooting, what if one of them's white? Or is this directed solely at Black people? Because if it's directed solely at Black people, I think this is racist as hell. But hey, it's an extra $300 a month if you don't get shot and if you don't shoot anybody. So stupid. It's not necessarily as cut and dry as folks may think. It's not as transactional as, here's a few dollars so you don't do something bad, but it really is about how you can help us improve public safety in the neighborhood, Davis added. I love the way she put that too. Think about it. Here's a few dollars so you don't do something bad. Here's a few dollars so you don't get shot. Here's a few dollars so you don't shoot somebody else. This is so stupid. Participants of the program will be paired with life coaches from the city's Street Violence Intervention Program and will serve as community ambassadors. Participants are also eligible to receive an additional $200 per month through ways such as working, going to school, or being a mediator in potentially violent situations. Payments will be made in the form of gift cards and will be monitored. Davis said, as you become better, your community benefits from that. Mayor London Breed previously spoke approvingly of the idea as one that could cut down violence in the city. My desire is to get to them. Not to just make an arrest, but to get to them and try to figure out if they would be willing to work with us on something that is an alternative. Breed said at a violence prevention summit hosted by the Human Rights Commission in August, we can't just put them in a program without making sure that they have money, without making sure that they have something to take care of themselves. So stupid. Can you believe your tax dollars, if you're in California, are going to be going to this? This is something that you're going to be paying for. You're going to be paying for criminals to not shoot somebody and to not get shot. Are you kidding me right now? But only if you're one of the 10 people selected who are at high risk of either committing a crime or being involved in a crime. Shootings have spiked in the city this year with 119 recorded gun crime victims in the first half of the year, which is double the number going into the same time frame in 2020. Well, what's the difference from 2020 to 2021? Of course it's gonna double. Hello? Didn't we have the whole lockdown thing going on last year? Oh no, it's a crisis. It's doubled over the year where we were all shut into our homes and our houses and our apartments. Oh my God. What are we going to do? I have an idea. Let's give cash to criminals. And San Francisco is not even the first place to introduce such a program. This program actually follows a similar one in Richmond, California, which was dubbed, I kid you not here, Cash for Criminals by the media after gun crimes increased. A 2019 study credited the program with helping reduce gun homicides in the city by 55%. Really? Because you gave criminals cash, they decided not to shoot people? I thought in their entrepreneurial ways, they would just go and shoot more people wanting to get more money. Whether legally or illegally. That's usually how it works, right? I don't know. Critics of the program have pointed out that similar initiatives haven't been very successful, with the Washington Examiner's David Freddoso saying in a Wednesday op-ed, it was also tried in Sacramento, where its promoters boast that only 44% of participants were subsequently arrested on new charges. Well, as long as you don't count about the 1/3 of the participants who dropped out or were arrested in the first 6 months. He added in his op-ed, violent criminals need jail. They do not need cash. People who shoot other people need to be walled off in prisons and kept away from the rest of us. The move comes as California also works to become the first state to pay drug addicts a few $100s to stay sober. Newsom, this lovely governor, who I hope loses his frickin' job, especially to Larry Elder, asked the federal government last week for permission to use tax dollars to pay for the program through Medicaid. Meanwhile, a similar proposal, mind you, to pay drug addicts to stay clean, is also working through California's legislature, with the state Senate already passing the bill. You know, my wife and I were talking about this just earlier today. We were talking about just how much California sucks and how crazy California is. And we were talking about, coincidentally enough, comic book movies. And we were talking about the very first Superman movie. Do you remember what the plan was in that movie? Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. He wanted to detonate the San Andreas Fault to make California just fall off into the ocean. And we were both joking amongst ourselves. Why couldn't that actually happen? Now, I want to ask you people, do programs like this honestly curtail crime and violence? Or are these programs simply a waste of tax dollars' money? Let's pause a moment here to talk about protein bars. Do you like a good snack throughout the day, but you'd rather not pack on the pounds while doing it? Well, hey, I've got great news. Built Bar is here to save the day. They've got so many flavors. There's something for everyone. When you talk to a Built Bar fan, like me, they're passionate about their favorites. They've got amazing flavors like coconut, which is death for me, but hey, maybe it works for you. Mint brownie, which I love. Double chocolate, salted caramel, cookies and cream, which is great, and more. Hey, if you can't pick a flavor right off the bat, you can get a mixed box. What is a mixed box? You'll get 2 of each of their 9 regular flavors. Built Bars have up to 18 grams of protein, and they're 180 calories or less. Only 4 to 5 grams of sugar, and only 4 or 5 net carbs. But you wouldn't know it by tasting them, because they taste amazing. You can take care of your sweet tooth and still be healthy. How about that? And now you can get your Built Bars even faster. How? Check this out. The new URL is built.com. It's no longer builtbar.com. You get to save 3 letters. Think about the time it takes for you to type in BAR. Now you don't have to do it. And for you, the loyal audience of TV's Rob is Unwoke, Built Bar is giving you a discount off your first order. Go to built.com and use the promo code TV's Rob to save 10% off your first order. Use promo code TV's Rob for 10% off at built.com.
He's on woke.
Good afternoon, passengers. This is your captain speaking. First, I'd like to welcome everyone onto this flight. We are currently cruising at an altitude of 33,000 feet at an airspeed of 400 miles per hour. The time is 1:25 p.m. The weather looks good, and with the tailwind on our side, we are expecting to land approximately 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The weather is clear and sunny with a high of 75 degrees for this afternoon. If the weather cooperates, we should get a great view of the city as we descend. The cabin crew will be coming around in about 20 minutes to offer you a light snack and a beverage, and the in-flight movie will begin shortly after that. I'll talk to you again before we reach our destination. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of your flight. And cabin crew, please do not duct tape the passengers.
Wait, what? Don't duct tape the passengers? What in the world are we even talking about here? I guess this is kind of a duh moment. Duh. Can you imagine being an airline pilot and actually having to make that announcement? Well, apparently if you fly United Airlines, this is something you actually have to worry about, okay? United Airlines has sought to avoid its own sticky situations with passengers by warning staff to refrain from using duct tape to restrain unruly flyers. After flight attendants who at 2 other airlines recently resorted to the tactic, making for memorable viral videos. Please remember that there are designated items on board that may be used in difficult situations, and alternative measures such as tape should never be used, John Slater, Senior VP for In-Flight Services, wrote in a memo obtained by Newsweek. As you've likely seen, a few airlines have recently made news about the way they've handled situations on board. The overwhelming majority of our customers have been on their best behavior throughout the pandemic and returned to our flights with confidence and enthusiasm, he wrote. When things have evolved, you've relied on all aspects of in-flight safety training, including de-escalation, his memo added. Slater was referring to at least 3 incidents involving duct tape used on passengers on American Airlines and Frontier. Flight attendants on a recent American Airlines flight from Maui to Los Angeles taped down a young boy when he threw a tantrum, and the flight was diverted to Honolulu. In another incident, a 22-year-old was taped to the back of a seat on a Frontier flight from Philadelphia to Miami. He was accused of groping 2 flight attendants. You're 22 and you're groping flight attendants? You should know better, okay? And honestly, have you seen the current crop of flight attendants? How many of them are hot? How many of them would you really want to grope? Now, I know at 22, you're probably just young and stupid, but come on, up your game. You've got to up your game a little bit, okay? And last month, an apparently unhinged woman was duct taped to a seat on her American Airlines flight from DFW to Charlotte after she allegedly attacked the crew and tried to open the door of the plane. I mean, was the flight really that bad that you tried to open the door to get off the plane? United crews have also used duct tape to restrain a disruptive man who was able to slip out of handcuffs on a flight in 2003. Now, the memo mentioned that there are designated items on board. What are those designated items? Well, a United rep declined to identify those items to Newsweek. But it makes you wonder, what would they use instead of duct tape to subdue an unruly passenger? If I were an unruly passenger, I know exactly what would shut me up. Booze. Free booze. You just keep those little bottles of Malibu or Jack or Jim, whatever you've got, you just keep that stuff flowing. I'd be compliant really, really quick. Once again, everyone, I want to thank you for coming along on the ride, and I want to, again, apologize for taking the time off and missing our quality time together. I hope you understand, like I said, sometimes life gets in the way. If you've been following me along on Twitter, some of you know what's going on. If you follow my wife on Twitter at DFW Radio Girly, you may have some insight as to what's going on. As crazy as life can be, it's always nice to have some sort of distraction, and this podcast really serves as a great one for me, and I appreciate you all listening. I really, really do. I can't emphasize that enough. I'll try not to take more time off like that in the future. Can't make any promises. I'm hoping to carve out enough time. But I got to tell you, real talk right here. There are various different shows I work on. Now, most of you know of the one that I work on, but there's a lot of others for a couple different companies. I have my fingers in multiple bowls. So those take up a lot of time. And by the time that I get done working on all of those, sometimes I'm just straight up tired with all the stuff going on in life. Then you have the professional stuff. There was also a very scary professional situation that was brewing that luckily has been avoided. I'm not going to go too much into detail about that, but just know that the flavor of the month was involved, and yeah, that really tested some nerves, and the stress levels were extremely high, and that just sucked the fun and joy out of everything. But luckily that's been settled. That's been put aside. So that's good. But you know, I appreciate y'all listening and giving the feedback on Twitter and everything, and I really hope that we can keep this thing going. If you would, tell 3 people that you know about this show so they can check it out. Who knows, maybe they'll like it, maybe they'll hate you for recommending it. You never know. On the next episode, got a special treat for you. Some people are coming by to chit-chat about some things. Not going to tell you what, not going to tell you who. Just know that it's going to be a fun episode. It's always good when other people want to come on and chit-chat about things. You know, it's just nice to have that interaction. Special thanks to my wife and producer, Nikki. You can follow her on Twitter at DFW Radio Girly. And Ryoga, the special derpy cat, the executive producer of TV's Rob is Unwoke. You can follow him on Twitter at Cat Ryoga. He's currently sleeping on a printer. You can see that online. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at TV's Rob Official. That's right. I'm TV's Rob. This is TV's Rob is Unwoke. We'll catch you next time.